I took two DNA tests, one from Ancestry and one from 23andMe, and while they mostly agree, there were some differences that surprised me. And if you've ever taken one of these tests, what I found might change the way that you look at your own results. So first up is my ethnicity estimates according to Ancestry.com. Nothing too surprising here. I always knew that I was at least 50% Polish and at least 38% Irish, and I thought it was about 12% French, but it's a little different when you actually look at the numbers here. Not surprisingly, when you look at the Poland, it's under the Central and Eastern Europe heading, and Southern Poland, 46 of that 50% is from that Southern Poland, and 4% from Northeastern Poland, and 1% from Eastern Czechia. Now I mentioned that 1% is a little surprising, and I'll show you why later. Now let's go down to my Irish side. This actually totals up to about 40% right here. Let's see, 23 and 12 is 35, and 3, 38 and 40%. And they divided it up into different parts of Ireland where my ethnicity on my Irish side. As a matter of fact, if you were to look at me, especially in my younger years, I look quite Irish, and my last name is Irish. So that's not really surprising. When we get down to Canada, that is only 6% French. Not as high as I thought, 12. The difference is here in England, I did not know I had any English ancestry whatsoever until this DNA ethnicity estimate update by Ancestry.com. Now let me go back up here. I want to click into Eastern Czechia because when you click into these, it shows you the percentage you get by parent. So let's take a look. Now I want to come down here. Now there's only 1% from Eastern Czechia. And when you come down here, it gives you how much of this is from your maternal or your paternal side. Now this has 1% from my paternal side. That is extremely odd. I don't know of any idea that there was any Central Eastern European, unless they're just wrapping up Ireland in that. And I would have expected that to all be on my maternal side. So this is very surprising to me. And since I was surprised by the English ancestry, let's go see where that comes from. I didn't even know I had any of that in me. United Kingdom, not very surprising, Eastern Midlands, they give you a little bit of information about what that's all about. But the paternal side, all 3% comes from there. And I do wonder if on the Eastern Czechia side, if that 1% is just Ancestry.com kind of rounding up, or if there's a little bit of noise there. So now, let's take a look at my Ancestry composition as reported by 23andMe. It is reported a little differently than Ancestry.com reports it. For example, they put all of my heritage as European at 100%, which isn't very surprising. But how they broke it down is a little bit surprising, especially when compared to Ancestry.com. For example, they gave me 53.3% heritage under the Central and Eastern European category, which I believe is about 1.3% more than Ancestry.com gave me. But they break that down as follows. They gave me 48.5% heritage under Czech, Hungarian, Slavic, and Southern Polish. Next, they gave me 3% heritage under Belarusian, Polish, and Ukrainian. Then they gave me about 1.4% heritage under Slovenian. And finally, they show me as having 0.4% ancestry or heritage under Estonian. Now when we get down to my Irish side, they put it under the British and Irish category at 42.3%. Once again, that's about 1.3% more than what Ancestry.com has me at. But how they broke that down is they gave me 40.4% Irish heritage. Not surprising. But here's something a little interesting. They gave me about 1.9% Welsh heritage. That's under the United Kingdom and Wales, but they do not show any of Welsh heritage for me under Ancestry.com. Instead, they just show English heritage or England at like 3%. Here's something a little surprising. Under 23andMe here, they give me 2.8% Spanish and Portuguese heritage, and they put that all under Portuguese and Galician. Now I say that's surprising, but it's not hugely surprising because I happen to have a book that somebody wrote a long time ago that deals with quite a bit of history of my surname, and also another surname that's quite important to his heritage and family. But when he wrote that book, he started with some ancient history, and in that book he discusses about how some Spanish and Portuguese invaders into the Celtic area invaded the Irish or Celtic area. I might have that backwards. I'm not sure if Irish went to the Spanish area, invaded. I think I had it right the first time. But anyway, it's kind of, there's been kind of lore that there is a little bit of Spanish and Portuguese in our Irish heritage because of that. Because wouldn't be very surprising if folks of Spanish and Portuguese heritage end up mating with those of Celtic heritage. Now here's what's something kind of interesting. For my French heritage, they put it under Western European. That's not the surprising part. The surprising part is they only give me 1.3% worth of French heritage, where Ancestry.com gives me 6%. Now here's something interesting and a little surprising is in 23andMe here, they give me 0.3%, which isn't very huge, of Ashkenazi Jewish. And for me, once again, the surprising part isn't that there's any Ashkenazi Jewish heritage in me. To me, the surprising part is that it's not more. And the reason that I say that is that my mother's maiden name is more heavily associated with Jewish heritage than it is Polish heritage. And because of that, I remember one time asking my maternal grandfather, I asked him, did you ever hear of or know of any Jewish heritage or religion in our background? And because there was no mention of any kind of Jewish heritage, and as far as religion goes, we were raised Roman Catholic, and that was historical religion as well. So after a while, my grandfather thought about it and said, no, I never heard of such a thing. But then I subsequently found out that in that region, it was not all that uncommon for both people of Jewish origin as well as Polish origin to adopt similar or even sometimes the same surname. So there you have it, folks. My ethnicity estimates and their differences between Ancestry.com and 23andMe. Have you noticed anything different between your heritage and ethnicity estimates between the two different kinds of DNA tests? If so, please let me know in the comments. If you found this helpful, don't stop here. I've put together a complete beginner genealogy series that walks you all the way from beginning your family tree to breaking through brick walls. Please click on the playlist on your screen, and I'll see you in the next video.